Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Pixar's brand new classic, Inside Out, which is a movie I was extremely excited for. I could not wait for this film, mostly because I'm a huge Pixar fan, but also because it had a very inventive premise. I mean, we're so used to animated movies out there, even the great ones, to have just maybe a silly premise or just a generic premise. We never usually get an animated film that has a very, very inventive premise. And this one definitely does, where we follow the emotions of a 11-year-old girl, and we follow the emotions joy, fear, disgust, anger, and sadness. And we're going to follow all 5 of those emotions, and I thought that was a really good premise. The trailers were both funny and inventive. The animation looked amazing, of course. I couldn't wait to see this film, and yes, I am I'm an old man. I'm not an old man, but I'm definitely not 14, 13, or 8 or 9, or I'm not really the target audience for this, but I still love so many Pixar films, even though the last couple weren't like classics. A lot of them are classics, but the last couple definitely are, and especially not Cars 2. But I'm still really excited to talk about this movie because it was good. The story for Inside Out is one of the most inventive out there. I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again. It's very inventive. But the story here follows Riley, an 11-year-old girl who has a pretty ordinary life. She's pretty good at hockey. She has a bunch of friends. She has great parents. She has a pretty good life overall. In the beginning of the film, you follow her as a baby, and as she grows up, for the next 2 or 3 minutes, it has a montage of her growing up, and you see all the great memories that she has and stuff. And of course, you start to be introduced to all the other emotions in her head. You get joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. You start to learn about those characters. Of course, their personalities revolve around who they actually are. Like disgust, of course. You know, joy, she's always happy. Sadness, always sad. You know, anger. Do I need to explain this? You know what their personalities will be. And of course, you follow them in the beginning as they just do routine girl stuff, and of course, or little girl stuff, you know. And of course, the movie has to have some drama in there, and Riley actually is forced to move from her hometown to a different place in a kind of crappy little house apartment thing, and her parents, like, they lost the moving truck. She doesn't have any friends there. She's not really emotionally well in this part, and mostly it's because of the emotion sadness, which sadness screws everything up in this. It's very, very weird to explain this emotion department center, which is her brain pretty much, and sadness is touching all of these really happy memories and making them sad, and she starts to emotionally break down. Something happens where joy and sadness butt heads in a way, and they get sucked into this in this tube thing, and they fly out to some place called it's like all the like backlog memories or whatever, and they get sucked over there. And of course, because Joy isn't there, who is kind of the commander-in-chief in a way of her brain, she starts to emotionally break down even more, and she's being very distant to her parents, and distant to people that to people that she doesn't really know yet and stuff, and she's emotionally breaking down, and it's a little hard to explain. I know. I'm trying. It's a little hard to explain. It's actually a very, very, I wouldn't say complex, but it's very, very, it's just very hard to explain. I don't know what else to say. And it's a very, very entertaining adventure film where you follow Joy and Sadness, played by Amy Poehler and Phyllis Smith, as they go around in her brain, pretty much trying to get back to the control center and make things right. And it's a good character movie. You know, like you get to know all these characters very well. It kind of helps that you know their characteristics right away because of their names. But hey, it actually worked, and you actually do feel really bad for the little girl who gets thrown into a situation she didn't want to. She tries very hard at first to, you know, make the best of what she has, and of course, you know, she starts to break down because of the emotions in her head. So that's the story of Inside Out. I went way overboard, but let me tell you, I've already said this, it's very inventive, very fun. The animation's absolutely spectacular, which you come to expect from Pixar, Disney. Even the bad Pixar movies have, not bad, the lesser Pixar films have amazing visuals, and yeah, this movie is one of the best looking ones, which pretty much happens every time they make a Pixar film. Every time a Pixar movie comes out, I'm always saying, this one looks better than all the other ones. And I'm saying now that this one looks better than all the other ones. It's a great story and some great visuals. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I'm not done with the review yet. No, no, no. Let's talk more about it. Inside Out has a couple of very small flaws. Very small. So small I can't even really describe them. Like, the only flaw I really have that I can describe is maybe some of the pacing issues. And when I mean that, I mean sometimes they repeat things over and over again. And it really wasn't a big problem. Like them trying to find a way to get to the control center. They did it over and over again, and it kept failing. Like, they kept like, oh, we found this way, it failed. Oh, we found this way, it failed. If you know what I'm talking about, then good. If not, it doesn't matter. It was such a small problem. Like, that only kind of bothered me. But because of the rest of the amazing film that I got to saw, I can't even give it problem, because this movie is so freaking good. First of all, like I said, the animation is absolutely spectacular in this. All the animations, all the texturing, all just the little technical stuff about the film, the way the lighting, the way the world itself looks, it looks perfect. It really does. It is an amazing looking film. It really is. It's so vibrant, colorful. I love it. The characters are extremely likable. You have Joy, played by Amy Poehler, and she does a great job here. And she's a really likable character because at first she is what you would expect a character named Joy would be. She's very joyful and happy and trying to make this girl's life very, very fun and stuff. And then later on she has to do stuff like betray her friends, and she even breaks down at one point and starts crying, like really heavily crying and stuff. And there's a really good amount of emotional heft in this film that I did not expect. Like, some characters even, I wouldn't say die, but let's just say some characters disappear, and it's actually really, really sad, and they don't come back, which I really liked. There's just moments in this movie that create dramatic and emotional heft that I wouldn't expect from anybody else besides Pixar, and maybe DreamWorks sometimes here and there with stuff like How to Train Your Dragon 2. But for the most part, this movie is very unique in its own way because of the story and because of how emotional it can be. And of course, the movie evolves or revolves around emotions, so it should actually make you feel what the characters are. Like, you should feel joy, disgust, anger, all that stuff, and you really do in this film, but in good ways. Just like the movie is trying to tell you that, hey, sometimes sadness and anger is good. In this movie, like, you'll feel those things, and it's good to feel those things. Like right now, I'm angry that I'm not sitting over there and doing other things. I have to freaking sit in front of this camera and tell you how great this movie is and tell you why you should go see it. Just go see it. It's amazing. And my computer's over there, that's why I'm pointing. I'm always on that computer. And over here, this is TV. I watch movies. I watch a lot more movies over there. Around here, perfect area for me. But yeah, this movie is amazing. The voice acting from everybody is top notch. Bill Hader, Louis Black, Phyllis Smith, Mindy Kaling, everybody else, Kyle MacLachlan. Everybody is great in this film. Great characters, great animations. Only very slight, very small problems make this movie. No, screw it. This movie is a 40 out of a 40. Like, it's just such a great freaking movie. And this and Mad Max make me really hopeful for the rest of this summer, because this summer just started. Remember, it's not even, we're more than halfway through June, and we still have July and August and like the beginning of September, which is kind of counted for summer movie season. So yeah, I mean, this movie is amazing. I cannot wait to see more stuff like this. It truly was an amazing film that made me think, made me feel, and yeah, I loved it. All the characters, all the moments in the film. Again, I only have very small pacing issues. Very small, not even really worth mentioning, but I keep mentioning it, so obviously it's worth mentioning, to me at least. But there you go. That's my review for Inside Out. I highly, highly recommend it. Go check it out. It's a beautiful film. Highly recommend it. Most likely you'll be seeing this or Jurassic World again, which is fine. Jurassic World's a good choice too. But there you go. Thank you and goodbye.